Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're opening up the sources on managed IT services, MSPs, but we're not just talking basic help desk stuff here. We're really digging into a fundamental shift, how IT stops being this reactive cost center with chaotic spending
Yeah,
and becomes a real strategic engine for the business.
that's exactly it. That's the core mission today. We want to unpack how the smart organizations are using MSPs. They get predictable costs, sure, but also much stronger security and, honestly, faster execution on projects. So for you, the listener, think about this. What if IT wasn't just a necessary evil, but an actual advantage? What hidden cost are you dealing with now, like constantly retraining people on security or the huge cost when key IT staff leave?
Okay, yeah, let's tackle the money side first. That makes sense. Stabilizing costs is kind of step one before you can even think strategy, right? So that big shift you mentioned, predictable spending, subscription models instead of those panic-inducing break-fix bills.
Exactly. And the mechanics behind that are really important. It's the move from capital expenditure, CapEx,
Hmm.
to operational expenditure, OpEx.
Right.
For finance teams, this is huge. It frees up capital that can go into growth, not just servers, improves cash flow almost immediately,
Hmm.
and, investors like OpEx too. It makes forecasting easier, less risk tied up in hardware that just gets old fast.
Okay, so the money's stable, that capital is freed up. What does that actually let leadership do differently strategically? Is it just about efficiency, like less downtime because of proactive monitoring?
Well, efficiency is a big part of it, definitely. Less downtime means your people are working on their actual jobs, not fighting with tech. But the real strategic shift,
Hmm.
it's about focus. Suddenly, your leadership isn't bogged down worrying about routine patching or backups. They can prioritize the big stuff, the initiatives that actually differentiate you in the market.
And you get access to skills you probably couldn't afford otherwise, right? This sort of expertise on demand, things like advanced cloud setups or serious cybersecurity talent. But doesn't outsourcing that potentially mean losing control or maybe getting locked into one vendor?
That's a fair point, and it's something you have to manage. But scalability is the counter argument there. You need what we call elastic resources. Think about the pandemic. Suddenly, everyone needed remote work overnight.
Yeah, that was chaos for some internal teams.
Right. An MSP can often scale that up almost instantly. Peak seasons, big market changes. You adapt without massive upfront costs or hiring freezes later.
Okay, let's pivot to risk then, because it's way more than just keeping viruses out these days. We're talking serious cybersecurity, aren't we? MSPs often bring that 247 Security Operations Center, that SOC coverage.
Absolutely critical. That constant monitoring drastically cuts down the time between, say, a breach attempt and someone actually responding to it. It's night and day compared to maybe one IT person trying to watch everything. And then there's compliance, regulatory assurance. If you handle sensitive data, HEPA, GDPR, PCI for payments, SOX,
Oh, yeah, the list goes on.
it does. And the fines for getting it wrong can be crippling. An MSP should have dedicated expertise to keep those controls up to date, manage the audit. It takes a huge burden off your plate.
Plus, you get that element of risk transfer, don't you? Through things like SLAs. Service level agreements, those contracts basically guarantee certain performance levels.
Exactly. SLAs plus the provider's own insurance create real accountability. If they don't meet the agreed standards, there are consequences. It helps limit your own liability.
So, putting it all together,
Yeah, when you look at the whole picture, choosing the right MSP isn't just about maybe saving a bit on IT costs. It's fundamentally strategic. You stabilize spending, yeah, but you also significantly reduce risk, security risk, compliance risk, and you gain the agility, the expertise on demand to actually innovate faster. It lets the business focus on its core mission.
okay, so a final thought for everyone listening. We've talked performance, cost, risk. But think longer term. How might MSPs play into sustainability goals? Green IT. Things like using virtualization to cut down server footprints, managing power smartly, handling old equipment, responsibly secure data wiping, compliant e-waste. That connection between efficient IT management and your company's broader ESG story or public image, that's definitely something worth mulling over.